Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the post-show live chat for Bachelor in Paradise Week 2, Episodes 2 and 3. How's everyone doing tonight? It's me, Bachelor Fan Take, and, a lot of Paradise content this week, a lot to talk about, two wildly different episodes, two wild episodes, and, we're going to get into all that in just a bit. But before we do, of course, got to go over the chat rules for everybody in the live stream tonight. Number one, please, no posting any spoilers. Sleuthing, of course, is welcome, and we're going to do, hopefully, some of that tonight. Definitely a little bit, hopefully some live sleuthing of the latest preview too. Number two, I'll try my best to respond to as many questions as I can, but super chats will get priority. And last but not least, be kind to each other, everyone. That's really the most important rule. And I already see a super chat, SHM Design. Good to see you as always. Thank you for the super chat. Hope all is well. How many birthdays are we going to have? Yeah, how many real birthdays? Is this season... it's this season's version of Stagecoach, which we also heard a little bit about this season. Still can't believe Lace got a rose. Yes, so, I believe it because we saw in the previews Lace was sticking around. I was thinking before the previews came out, before there was some preview footage that showed she was going to stay, she might be one to go, but we know she's going to stay. We know there are a few surprise people still around, people missing in the previews that we will talk about, of course, in a little bit. But yeah, Lace is looking to be paired up with Rodney there. Rodney there. It's in the latest preview, the one that we just saw at the end of the episode. And also, I guess we'll go into it right away. Here in this shot, we get a look at what's going on later down the line, and who's paired up here, who's not here is very interesting for the dynamic of what's going to happen over the next couple of episodes, over the next however long it takes before there's another rose ceremony, because this looks to be during the Casa Amor twist after the next rose ceremony. So the women are going to be in power now, now that we've had the most recent rose ceremony that saw, who is it, Haley, Hunter, and Kira, I believe, go home. Those three women went home at the last rose ceremony, didn't have a match. Hunter was paired up with Johnny, but as we can see in this photo, Johnny is now with Victoria F, and we're going to talk more and more about that as well. We also saw a surprise exit of Teddy. Teddy self-eliminating this episode. She wasn't feeling it with Andrew. She decided to go home. So you'll see at the very end, Andrew with Brittany. Looks like maybe that's where the rose gets handed out at that rose ceremony. Brittany gives hers to Andrew, though there is another guy potentially in Brittany's future as well. This guy's name's Adam from Bachelor in Paradise, Australia. But and Rodney there with Lace. Lace and Rodney, though that will also change. Rodney talked about who was it? It was Teddy, someone else, and Eliza as people he was interested in at the beginning of Paradise when he walked in. And Eliza is going to show up. She's going to be a part of this Casa Amor twist, and Rodney's going to be with her. But poor Andrew. Definitely poor Andrew, and it's both with Teddy, and there's potential maybe something with Brittany, but that's, I don't know, that with this stuff, I think maybe that's not going to work out either. I don't know. Seems like an out of the blue, out of nowhere connection, those two, so wouldn't be surprised if that's a nothing relationship. Nothing happens with it. But, Lace is here to stay, at least for now. At least until Eliza shows up. And Maria Hernandez, thank you for the super chat as well. Who would have thought Romeo to be the center of the drama? Yes, he is the center of the drama now. But Don't know if that's going to last. I think Romeo is another one who's going to be going home. Back to this shot. No Romeo in here as well. I'm guessing Romeo is going to go. And, he's kind of dead man walking at this point. No one's really shown interest unless, Sally comes in and shows interest in Romeo. I think that's it for him. Also, no Sally here. We saw Sally at the end of the episode in the preview. She's going to be showing up. No Sally here as well. Also, no Justin. Don't see Justin here, which is rather strange because, we do know that Justin goes on a date with Eliza. And if Justin's not here, and this is when Eliza shows up, what's going on? What's going on there with that? Also, no Andrew. But we know, no, not Andrew, Michael. No Michael. But we know Michael is in an endgame relationship, he's got something going on here. So no Michael, no Sierra. Maybe they're on a date. No Michael and Sierra here. Sierra's not here. She should be still around. She has the power. She has the rose power. Maybe they're on a date. Yeah. We'll see. Lots of question marks in this spot right here. But Asiya, thank you for the super chat as well. Glad to see you in the chat. Teddy left without saying goodbye to anyone. Yeah, she ghosted Paradise. I don't like Shanae, but her and James were cute. Same with Aaron and Genevieve. I love Ashley, I, and Jared. Yes, Ashley and I and Jared showed up to Paradise. Another thing, they're here, they're staying. They're like unofficial contestants. Married couple showing up. And in the preview, they have like a whole bunch of footage dedicated to them in the preview. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe producers needed some eyes on the ground or something. They needed people to tell the narrative they wanted. I don't know what's up there, but they're showing up and they're here for a little while longer and getting some kind of love story. After their wild time in Paradise before, where things really didn't work out with them, and then they figured it out off camera. But hey, I guess they got engaged on that beach. So, but yes, Shanae and James. She's getting her the turnaround edit redemption arc here in the season of Paradise. Sucks for people like Elizabeth from Clayton's season who, didn't even get to go on Paradise, but Shanae gets a redemption arc. Shanae and James, though I don't know if that's going to actually be a coupling. We've seen in the previews this bit of footage here with Logan and Shanae and Kate. Kate from Clayton's season, also a part of this Casa Amor twist that happens. I don't know when it happens. I think likely after the next rose ceremony. So my guess will be, next week, maybe second episode next week, probably the earliest. We'll see something like this go down. But Kate shows up. She seems to be with Logan, and this sort of love triangle emerges here. So that Shanae seemed rather upset about. I think that's going to be maybe the end of Shanae. James is not going to be a thing with Shanae. Perhaps James gets eliminated at the next rose ceremony, because who else is he going to have a connection with? Maybe it's the storyline of Shanae versus or Shanae with James versus Logan, and she chooses Logan because Logan's still got a lot to go. And then he turns around and picks Kate, because there has been footage before with Logan and Kate where he says something like "I choose you," or maybe not that specific, but like "I want you to be mine," or "I want us to be a thing," and they're in the rain and all that. But yeah, we'll see. I think the bigger thing from that double date, we saw Aaron and James show up. And a double date happened with Shanae and Genevieve. I think the bigger thing is Aaron and Genevieve. Obviously, Genevieve and Justin aren't going to be a thing because, Justin's exploring his options with Eliza instead. And there's a lot more preview footage with Aaron and Genevieve. But not before some drama where he, sees them kiss. Saw that in the preview as well. And Asiya again, thank you for the super chat. I felt bad for Hunter. Johnny picking Victoria seemed like it came out of nowhere. Yes, it did seem like it came out of nowhere. And if you were just watching the episode, it felt like such a shift of, he was with Hunter. Hunter went home, obviously. And then switched his rose after this kiss. That night, after, a full, couple of days with Hunter, boom, one moment shifted everything. Now, here's where things get crazier, because if you've been watching the preview breakdowns, you'll already know what we've been speculating. We've had 2 proposals in the previews. So two for sure are happening this season. There could be a third one. They have done it in the past where they showed us, I think, just 2. I think this happened last season. They showed us just 2, and then partway through the season we saw a third. The third being, they showed us Marissa's engagement, they showed us Mari's engagement, and then the third one was Joe and Serena. And 2 this time. The first being this one. It's definitely got to be at this point. I'm convinced it's Brandon and Serene. We've got here, see if I can kind of hide behind this. Maybe better off to do this. Bracelet here that Brandon's been wearing all season long in his cast photo and everything like that in this engagement shot. Alongside this one, got to be Brandon and Serene. They're also the rock solid couple of the season. There always seems to be one that gets the perfect edit, and that's them. But also this shot right here, and we'd been sort of trying to figure out again, the bracelet here, maybe the wristwatch. There's another bracelet. On the other hand, in a different angle shot for this guy. But really, what the dead giveaway for this has been is the hand of the woman. And definitely matches up the ring there and the fingernails with Victoria F. So, Victoria F getting engaged in Paradise. Why not? Why not with this show? And Johnny, that one moment, that one kiss before the rose ceremony, looks like it might end up in an engagement. There are other people that we've talked about, speculated for this. Obviously, we know Michael A is with Danielle M, and they're an endgame couple because, and this is just, public knowledge, they were seen together at Wells and Sarah's wedding, right? Just in Vogue, just the 2 of them there. They were invited. Danielle would, she's from Nick's season. She was also on Paradise. Kissed Wells on Paradise. He was the bartender, and she said, "I have a better connection with Wells. I'd rather try that." And then she left, kissed Wells. I believe that's how it went. And but I guess they're friends, and so she was invited, I'm guessing, and her +1, So, we've speculated that, because Michael has worn some bands and stuff before that might match, but I don't know. I've been looking closer and closer, reviewing some of the footage from this week, from last night's episode too, and it, the band doesn't match. It's a very specific pink band that Michael wears, not the same one as this. And also Tyler from the latest season, from Gabby and Rachel's season as well, was another one name that was thrown out from some Instagram photos. but that's a wild stretch. And Tyler, he is going to be showing up, but he looks to be a late arrival. So late arrivals not as likely to get engaged usually. So there you go. Yeah, and people talking about Johnny and Gabby. Johnny saying he was not ready for an engagement on Gabby's season, but yet in an even shorter amount of time, I don't know. I guess he found the right person. So yeah, I just think the evidence is overwhelming that it's Johnny and Victoria. So there you go. We'll see if there's a third engagement. It's possible. We're gonna see at the end of this the decision day, where if you're not aware what happens at the end of Paradise, once we have all these rose ceremonies, there's a certain amount that they have. It goes back and forth. The men have the power, the women have the power, the men have the power. By the end, so probably end of October, because that seems to be what they're deciding the schedule is going to be. The finale is going to be on November 1st. Two episodes, Monday, Tuesday, I think Halloween night, and then November 1st for the finale. So spooky ending, but they have Decision Day, and Decision Day is where the couples that are left after the back and forth elimination, men and women having power, the couples that remain must decide if they want to go to fantasy suites where they're committed to each other. It's a committed relationship now, and the couples that do, they get a fantasy suite just like Bachelor, Bachelorette. And then they have a final rose ceremony where they decide to get engaged or not. However, a lot of couples decide not to make it to the fantasy suite. They break up, or they just leave the show together as boyfriend and girlfriend at that time. And we see a mixed bag every season. People choosing to go to fantasy suite, of course. People who decide to leave the show together. People who are really established couples that break up, like Becca and Thomas last year. Established couple, broke up, but then got back together again, now engaged. Both proposed to each other. Becca proposed first, he said yes, and then I think just today or yesterday, Thomas also proposed to her. So they both said yes to each other. And then there's the massacre of eliminations. So do they keep couples on the down low post Paradise, like safe houses, etc.? So they do them. So do they just let them run around postseason? No, they do the same thing, or similar things with couples on Paradise as they do with the Bachelor and Bachelorette. However, it's harder and a little bit looser. And there have been instances in the past where couples have, little things have slipped. But yes, they do try their best to keep it as secret as possible. The couples getting together, having dates and stuff like that. Because just like, in The Bachelor or Bachelorette, they want these couples to succeed. They definitely want these couples to at least last until after the final rose, after the final Paradise, whatever you want to call it. They definitely do that, yes. And alumni have said the amount of time you get to spend with other people in Bachelor/Bachelorette versus Bachelor in Paradise is vastly different. Bachelor in Paradise contestants spend 24/7 with each other, unlike the other shows. Yes, so that is true. Speaking to the point we mentioned before about Johnny, having not been ready for an engagement with Gabby after even less or even more time there than he does with Victoria on Bachelor in Paradise. Yes, the filming schedule for Bachelor in Paradise is shorter, but that is true. You don't spend as much time with the person on Bachelor or Bachelorette, even going way to the end. We see the dates that we see on Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise are are very like edited together. It's a very short amount of time you're seeing, where in reality they're spending the whole day doing things like traveling. They maybe get together for a brief, hour or two on the date portion of their date, filming all that. Then they separate again, don't see each other for hours before, maybe another hour or two for the dinner portion of their date and all of that. And you're spending the entire day out on this one-on-one, and really it's only a few hours you get to be with this other person. And so it's not a lot of time, and a lot of that time is pressurized. You're tired, you've got cameras on you, all this sort of stuff going on. So yeah, there's some validity to the idea that you actually get to know the person better on Bachelor in Paradise than you do on The Bachelor or Bachelorette. And probably, even though, producers are all there, there's a little bit less, I don't know what the word is, chaperoning of your relationship. You get some maybe a little more private time where you're not the focus and you can kind of hide away a bit on Bachelor in Paradise. Maybe that's why we're starting to see more successful couples come out of this show than we are of the Bachelor or Bachelorette. So it is a good point. Yeah, Bachelor in Paradise filmed 3 weeks, yes. And what is it? The Bachelor is filmed like over 2 months or something like that. I'm just sort of speaking off the top of my head. Like The Bachelor, I believe is filming now, and from memory, typically like it'd be November or so, when end of November or something by the time it's finished filming. So I think, because I remember that in the past, previews for the upcoming season, have come out sometimes at the end of November. Like I remember Peter's season preview. We were in off season, end of November it came out. So yeah, 3 weeks for Bachelor in Paradise. I know, it seems like, what? We're gonna watch it over the course of a month. 2 episodes a week over the course of a month now, and it's only filmed over 3 weeks. But think about it. Last episode, with Genevieve crying and everything, and getting upset, all that sort of stuff. And then what did they say? It's only been 2 days. So yeah, we like 2 episodes, 2 days. And here, rose ceremony was day 3, so we're like 4 days, something like that in. 4 days in right now, which is why it's kind of wild, some of the emotions that you see. But you're on a strict filming schedule. There's a lot of pressure. People are up late. People are tired. A lot going on. National TV, all that stuff. Isn't Bachelor in Paradise 5 weeks of shooting? It might have been. The latest I've heard for like the last 2 seasons at least is like 3 weeks. Maybe before that it was 5 weeks. But like, yeah, I mean, and obviously we were talking about you get to know each other better, on Bachelor in Paradise maybe than on Bachelorette, but someone's saying Bachelor in Paradise is still a fast timeline. And even if you are going to take Johnny by his word on what he told Gabby, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, still, even if it's a time where you're getting to know the person more than on The Bachelor or Bachelorette, it's still a wildly fast time, including what Johnny said on Gabby's season. So, yeah. Still either way, still wild to see that this is likely the engagement of Johnny and Victoria F. Unless something changes in the previews, where Victoria F ends up in a new relationship, which I suppose is possible, but I think it's unlikely because there's just too much of them in the previews, I think, and not enough of Victoria with another person. there are other shots than just the ones we've seen in these like last couple of episodes and this stuff. Then there are more Johnny and Victoria shots. So I'm inclined to believe like this is all pointing to that. So did Rodney go on a date also this episode? No, at the end of the episode, Rodney wanted to go on a date with Teddy, but Teddy was gone. Teddy decided to self-eliminate, ghost everyone, just leave. She said goodbye to Andrew. She ended things with Andrew because she wasn't feeling strong enough with him. And if it wasn't working with him, then that was it. So she's gone. Teddy, Rodney wanted to go with Teddy, but can't ask someone who isn't there. However, we are seeing in the preview that Lace swoops in, and according to this, Lace and Rodney are going to be a couple, at least for the next little bit. Then Eliza shows up, and we know that Rodney and Eliza go on some dates, and Rodney seems much more connected with her. So, Paradise moves. Paradise, the winds of change are ever present in Paradise. And things go quickly in the very opposite direction you expect them to. That's the way it works. So yes, and also someone saying from this picture, does Brittany get with Andrew? Yep. Yes, that seems to be the coupling that ends up together at the next rose ceremony. Don't know what kind of connection it is. Sometimes they can be like what we saw Romeo sort of with Jill here. Romeo gave Jill a rose so that she could, explore other options. Sometimes there are more friendship roses, You give out a rose to someone who you feel deserves to find love. So it's possible that Brittany, who has the power still, now, this second week, whatever, she doesn't have a particularly strong connection with anybody, and she feels bad for Andrew. She's friends with Andrew, or maybe, they do have a connection, but it's possible that she just gives him a rose because she believes Andrew deserves to find love. And after this, Andrew having the power again, we do see him on a date with NC. She's an early elimination from Clayton's season, so it's possible that it's more of a relationship or just a friendship, and then NC, a new arrival, arrives after this rose ceremony, after the Casa Amor, or something like that. She arrives. Usually, women arrive when men have the power, and men arrive when women have the power, with the exception of Sally coming in next week, probably to replace Teddy, who was a woman in power, giving out a rose, no longer now giving out that rose. She might come in with the men having the power, see that Andrew is not in a relationship yet, or doesn't have a connection with anybody, decides, okay, take Andrew out on a date, and they see what happens. So even though Andrew is kind of on the bubble, not in a relationship right now, he's going to be around for a little while longer. And Fantake, have you talked about the reenacted Sally thing tonight from last night? I joined like 10 minutes late. No, I have not talked about that. So yes, if last episode we saw also this reenactment of Sally from Clayton's season, the Runaway Bride Sally. Here, I'll get some photos going up real quick. I don't have them at the ready, but I'll get them going. We saw Sally here. I'll get the this going. Here's Sally. I've got my cast cheat sheet in the background, but runaway bride Sally, you might recognize. She's going to be showing up to Paradise, and they had this reenactment of why her suitcase was there. Here, let me get it. Here, they also, Jill and Lace and Genevieve rummaged through Sally's bag, which was like horrible. Why would you ever see someone's bag and decide to just rummage through it? You know, open it up, they find a vibrator, they find a waffle maker, which was a reference from the Women Tell All. Obviously, this was all staged. Obviously, all fake. Still horrible, because at the end of the day, and I'm going to talk about this in the recap, but still horrible, because at the end of the day, they don't present it as fake. Like, haha, we're just faking, this isn't real. They present it as this is happening. And Wells even says, no, this is all real. Obviously very fake. Still horrible, still Mean Girl stuff, still stupid by production. But they have this, this, I don't know, reenactment of why the suitcase showed up. It was really, really stupid. Wells here. This is how they had a dude playing Sally. You know, they had like stuff like her. They said she had explosive diarrhea, and then like some dude answered the door instead of her, insinuating that she was with a guy who was kind of trashy. And you know, ultimately, she didn't join the plane. She didn't jump on the plane, but her bag did. And, well, you know, now next week she's gonna show up. So this is completely ludicrous stuff, because it's just, they're just dragging Sally, even though they're like, haha, it's a joke. They are dragging Sally. And again, I talk about this in the preview, or sorry, in the recap, but it just seems like Sally pissed off production, and this is their way of getting back at her. Drag her through the mud, do a wild reenactment where they say she has explosive diarrhea, was with another dude, and is crazy, had like this producer locked in the trunk of her car for 4 hours, and, you know, brought a suitcase with a waffle iron and a vibrator in it that they all parade around. And then Kira like does a thing, another obviously fake thing, where she shows up and steals the vibrator and then goes to use it, a used vibrator. Obviously also fake, but like, ay. And Beatriz Hernandez, thank you for the super chat. Glad to see ya. Again, good night to you, Fantake, and to everyone here in the chat. Just got home from work, couldn't see the episode. Hope everyone is doing okay. Blessings. Thank you so much for the super chat. Have a good night. Hope you rest easy. And watch the show tomorrow, or recap. Full double recap of both episodes is going to be coming out tomorrow. Barring some like major disaster. But yeah, they gave Sally the drunk history treatment. They did. But, I don't know, it's a different air. Like, drunk history is, you know, it's funny because, like, the person is telling an accurate story, but they're drunk and so, you know, doing it. So it's their telling of the story that bungles it and makes it funny, but this was, like, more mean, you know? Like, it has the air of that, but I feel like the intent behind it was to, like, really slam Sally. I guess I don't know what it is. Maybe they were peeved because I don't know. She didn't show up. She didn't stay on The Bachelor or something. And it's very possible that all of this whole reenactment was filmed after the fact and then put into this episode, you know, like, or some, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe because Wells said the story or something, but some of, I mean, it, you know, it could still be edited. Like, what we could have seen is voiceover of Wells, conspiracy, tinfoil hat thrown on, voiceover of Wells telling the story mixed in with the actual story that Wells told, which was maybe similar, and all embellished. But, anyways. Sorry, I'm gonna just dealing with something real quick. Yep. Sorry, just had to deal with someone. So yeah, I wasn't particularly a fan of the reenactment. Didn't tickle my funny bone. Didn't tickle my funny bone, really. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes for Sally. All I really know about Sally's time on Paradise is that it's a mystery. All of it is a mystery. She's not in the previews really at all, except for this latest preview, which maybe we'll check out. We'll see if some of it pops up. They've been popping it up late. The previews. So we'll check maybe at the end of the hour to see if the preview pops up. They used to be so good about it. They used to be on Gabby and Rachel's season at the beginning. It was out like right away, and we could do it whenever we wanted. But otherwise, she's not in the previews. She's not in this shot. She's not here. She's not in any like future date shots or anything. You would think she shows up with a date card, right? Isn't that normal? But hey, maybe she doesn't because she has the power or something, or production hates her. Genevieve said that Sally comes and goes very quickly on Almost Famous. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Sally and Justin leave together. There's no... Hey, that would be pretty wild. But he does come... But if so, he comes back. Because we know when Eliza arrives, and there's footage of Justin and Eliza together. But yeah, that would make sense. Like another thing I noted, like in the last preview, in this shot, there was no Teddy. This was before this episode came out. No Teddy. And that seemed weird. But there was an explanation. She self-eliminated. She suddenly wasn't feeling it with Andrew, even though I thought that last date with him was really cute. But and is Cassidy going to be on Bachelor in Paradise? I don't think so, because I've seen some of Cassidy's tweets. Seems like that's a no. Seems like she's not on Paradise the way she's talked about the show. But yeah, Sally coming and going. Maybe that's another reason why production doesn't like her. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see the context. But next week and the double episode, 2 episodes. Does Sally just come to get her suitcase? Yeah, that makes sense to me. She just she just comes to get her suitcase and then leaves. Say bye-bye. Where can I watch the show? Depends on where you're from. ABC is generally the way to watch it. Canada, you can watch it on City TV, Hulu. So, who's my least favorite cast member so far? It's an interesting question because, like, I don't know. Romeo was freaking me out. and Kira's been kind of freaking me out, but I don't know. Kira not no, but then there were some that were just sort of that like. Does least favorite mean I dislike them or they're not entertaining to me? Because like Haley, I don't really know Haley. So what happens with Sierra? Well, all again, Sierra not in this shot. Not in the shot. Michael's also not on this shot, so again, they could be on a date. However, we do know that Michael ends up with someone else. So at some point, whenever Danielle comes in, don't know the context, but Sierra must go. It's possible she ends up with someone else, finds a different connection, but I don't know. Could be a little while before, and generally later in the game when the swaps happen, that's it. But we'll see. How many episodes are there in Bachelor in Paradise? Well, we can do the math right now. We know that November 1st is the finale. So we've had 3, then 5, 7, 9, 11 episodes looks like this season. Which is a bit, I mean, you know, that's pretty on par. Every season of The Bachelor or Bachelorette or Bachelor in Paradise seems to have 11, 12, sometimes 13 episodes. So yeah, I mean, have you considered that these photos, so this one and this one, are not the same? Yes, I have. I think there are a couple of things that indicate it's about the same time. Either way, with the couples that are in this shot, this is either before this, well before this, or it's the same time. Because we're seeing couples together like Logan and Shanae. Would make sense that they stay together, and then when Kate shows up, because we've seen Logan with Kate, and we've seen Logan with Sarah as well on dates. You know, the storyline that's attached to it, like them arriving and then Logan suddenly wanting to be with Kate or Sarah, but we know for sure he has more preview footage together with Kate. It would make sense that their relationship shifts after that. So it would happen like this stuff where Shanae is upset with Logan about him being with other women like Kate. It would make sense that it would happen all around the same time, and so that's sort of what I'm thinking. And we know that Lace and Rodney are going to be a thing. Then Eliza shows up, and then Eliza and Rodney are a thing. So that's why I'm thinking it's like around the same time. There's still like a bit of time to go before we get to this stuff. There's, I think, a whole other rose ceremony, but that's sort of what makes sense to me. So I guess it's possible, but I'll go and review the footage as well. But it just clicks in my mind. I guess is what I'm saying. So, how do you feel about Genevieve and Shanae on a double date? I've said my piece about Shanae even being on Bachelor in Paradise. I'm glad that they didn't dive into drama, I guess. I mean, it's very easy for something like that to ruin Genevieve's day and any chance with Aaron, that to distract from that, but it didn't. And it looks like she's found her new man, especially again in this photo. We see them together and in lots of other previews. So, and with the Logan stuff and Shanae, probably the end of Shanae. Probably. So we've got there's a number of Shanae shots still to come, but it's starting to slowly dwindle down. I think there's like Shanae. Yeah, well, let's not get too hasty. Like, I think we've seen in the previews Shanae and Olu together, but we don't know when that happens. If Olu's another arrival like during this week or something, and I think even so, Shanae's time will end at some point because if she's not with Logan, it's probably not going to make it all the way to the end game. So let me just again double check for any preview dropping. See if anything happens. Doesn't look like it yet, but last time it dropped right at the end of the hour, so we could do maybe a little bit of live sleuthing before we close out things. Check Instagram too. Nah, just more of Aaron and James and Ashley, I, and Jared. Yeah, yes, and Jacob talking about the strip club with Lace. So obviously, Lace got a rose from Jacob. This rose ceremony, this last one, and yeah, that's not going to be a thing. Much like we see Jacob and Jill together. So I don't know if that's a legit pairing, but he seems to have his arm around her. So there's something. What strip club? Please share. Yes. So Jacob is now, I guess, in a couple with Lace. Jacob, was touting himself as the Bachelor in Paradise because he had a rose up for grabs, and a number of women needed a rose, or else they were going home. So they were all coming to him to see if there was a connection. Lace won out and got the rose, so they are a couple, I guess, for the moment. But then he made a comment about going to Hong Kong, which was actually the name of a strip club. And it was amazing or something like that. Yeah, cringy, kind of cringy. Lace was like, okay, no longer interested. So. You have family in Tijuana? You gonna ask them about Hong Kong? Yeah. Wonder if they'll have a photo of Jacob now propped up. But yeah, it was a, we see it every season, these sudden connections with people who have roses, and it was never going to be a thing. Jacob, I don't know, he seems to make it a little ways, but yeah, I don't know if he'll be there for the end game. Don't know if he will. But he's getting his Tarzan moment. So. So we'll see. We will see. I think we've there are a lot of things to come, and I mean, Jasenia's showing up as well. Someone saying, is Andrew with Jasenia in the previews? I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of Jasenia date footage, or at least significant date footage. So I don't know if there's... I mean, there are dates. There probably some kind of date card situation is going to happen with these women coming in. I don't know how it's going to work with 5 women coming in all at once. What the rules are going to be with this Casa Amor thing. Like 5 date cards or what, or a group date or something. But they'll probably all get their chance to have some alone time with different guys. And Andrew, the one that I significantly remember though is Andrew with NC, who's not even a part of the show here. And LA Broad 72, thank you for the super chat. Just wanted to say thank you for all you do. Thank you for the super chat. Really, really appreciate it. Andrew, who is Andrew? Andrew on the far end there. Yes, thank you so much, LA Broad. Really appreciate the super chat. Andrew also with he was with Teddy, but now Teddy's gone. Now Teddy is gone. But okay, let's see. We're getting close to the end of the hour. Gonna be checking for these any remote possibility of a preview. Sometimes they drop it on their socials as well to do a little live preview stuff. But doesn't look like quite yet. It was at the very last second last week. So we will patiently wait and hopefully get into it. But of course, if not, there's always the preview breakdown. Tomorrow is going to be the double recap, double edition of the recap. Both episodes, yesterday's and today's, and then Thursday, the preview breakdown. Yeah, Michael A. tweeting tonight, kind of coming for Genevieve, complaining about it being a stressful environment. Yes, I saw that as well. Michael, it was a bit of an awkward take. Here it is. I'll prop it up for everybody. Because Genevieve originally commented, honestly, the amount of times I wanted to leave that place is scary. Imagine 3 hours of sleep and 90% humidity. It's not easy, people. And then Michael said, "Yup, I remember waking up next to the ocean, having all your meals prepared for you, spending your day talking to friends and working through our problems in hopes of walking away healthier. It gets harder. Trust me. We weren't tortured. We were lucky." Which is, it's an interesting thing because Michael's situation in Paradise is very different than Genevieve's. And I mean, look, I'm not saying Genevieve has like some of the stuff with Genevieve has been a little extra, but obviously Michael's getting a much kinder touch from production than Genevieve is. So it's a bit of an awkward take from Michael, but I did see that. Yes, that's true. Yes, and he has apologized for that. And he wrote, I this wasn't meant to dismiss her feelings. When I read it, it sounded to me like we were being held against our will and in poor conditions, which isn't the case. Everyone entitled to feel the way they feel. I mean, that's just my thoughts. Yes. He said he apologized to Genevieve as well. But any pup cam? Yes, of course. Oh my goodness, so sorry. There's just a butt. Let's see. Can I get? There we are. There's Bob. Jackson is missing, but Bob's sleeping. He's twitching away. He didn't want to be on camera. Sorry, Bob. But yeah, Bob cam, no Jackson cam today, unfortunately. He doesn't always like to come on. Bob is more willing, especially since I got the couch in there. But, all right, come on. 11 o'clock now. See if we get any luck. I'll wait another 5 or so minutes. But they really don't want us to be doing this live sleuthing. Really don't want us. But I think the big deal. I mean, a lot of this preview for next week involved Ashley, and Jared. Don't know why they're getting screen time. I mean, they usually just pop them into, like, you know, lead a date or something, or tell everyone you can find love too, and encourage a few relationships. But they're, like, going to be sleeping over and dating and stuff like that. And Sally's arrival. Sally's arrival is a big thing. But apparently she leaves pretty quickly. So, doesn't change too much of what happens here. People who seem to be going. People who finding new couples. Like, we see no Romeo here. That shouldn't be a terrible surprise for people. Romeo probably going at that rose ceremony. Casey is not here as well. However, he gets injured. We saw in the previews. Yeah, and Michael and Justin are the other ones not there. But something's fishy because we know they're featured later on in the season. So they could just be on a date or something. Have I ever heard of the bisexual Bachelorette of Australia? Yes, there was a season where both men and women were on the Bachelorette. So and we're seeing Australian contestants come on. The next Bachelor season, I don't know when it is, if it's happening or anything like that, in Australia. 3 Bachelors. They've got 3 Bachelors in the Bachelor Australia. It's the next one. 3 very different Bachelors too. So, and it seems like a couple of these things, Bachelor Australia, Bachelor in Paradise Australia does first. Like, there are seasons where a former Bachelor or lead showed up on Bachelor in Paradise Australia. Then, not long after that, there was Becca showing up on Bachelor in Paradise. Then the double season sort of stuff, that too. When is the Bachelor in Paradise Canada season? I think it's like in February. I think they announced the next Bachelor in Paradise Canada. Is going to be Charlene Joint, by the way. Charlene from Juan Pablo's season is going to be the host. I thought I saw like a poster for it. That said something like February. And Kevin went from Bachelor in Paradise America, also from the Bachelorette Canada, went on to Bachelor Winter Games. He engaged to Astrid, then married, now have a kid, and he's the Wells of the season. I don't know when it officially showed. Let me see if there's the Twitter page has the official one. I thought I saw a poster or something. It just says coming
A little
soon.
bit of news to share with Bachelor Nation.
It says returns 2023. That's all it says. 2023. Bachelor in Paradise, Canada. And they usually snag in some American contestants there. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if there's anyone from the latest seasons here too. But all right, one last check. Doesn't look like we're gonna have any luck this week on the preview. That's unfortunate, but it's getting a little late, and got to get in the recap and the major preview breakdown work. So gotta hit the hay. Will I be breaking down Bachelor in Paradise Canada? Maybe. One thing I've decided to do with all the health problems I've had this year is to take some of the off season and do some stuff like traveling. So I'd said this during Clayton's season. That one place I really wanted to go to was Iceland, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that in April, during the off season. And maybe I'll visit all the places that Clayton went to. Hey, maybe I'll do a video on on all the places Clayton went to. But that was one place I'd always wanted to go to, so I'm gonna do that. Maybe if Bachelor in Paradise Canada slots in well to an off-season time, I might cover it. But we'll see. 2023. I mean, if it's on during The Bachelor, I won't have time. I won't have time. But maybe if it's right after, maybe if it fits in between, it might be something nice to cover in between Bachelor and Bachelorette. But all right, thank you everyone for joining me for the live chat. A little bit of sleuthing we did on past preview stuff and talking about the show. Thank you to everyone who's chatted, super chatted. Thank you to Think Story for modding for a bit, and anyone who's just in the background lurking. Thank you for watching as well. Preview breakdown 2 days from now. Recap tomorrow. Going to cover both episodes, and then next week we start all over again. Monday, Tuesday episodes. Tuesdays for the post-show live stream, and we've got till November 1st. We got a whole month of Paradise. So until next time, Bachelor Fan Take out.